The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly Noyantis Usergroup meeting. Today is the 27th of April 2020. Myself and John are your hosts. As always, we'll start off with a couple of updates, but if anyone's got any queries or questions or ideas and solutions, then feel free to raise your hand. We'll get the microphones opened and we'll cover the content accordingly. So while we wait for the questions, in fact, let me just open the question box up so I can see the questions. Yes, basically updates. You may remember last week I said we were working on different updates and so on, one of which was related to the ReportControl legacy browser enhancers within the ReportControl. So I did hope to get the answer out, an update out last week on that, and I've not been able to. It's had quite a considerable amount of time to it, and I do know where the actual where the issue lies. So basically, this is where you're using a Clarion list, but either if it's legacy, it's page loaded. ABC would be file or page loaded, but basically it's where you've got a Clarion browse and you are enhancing it. So if it's a manually loaded queue list in Clarion, they're enhancing okay. It's literally just the page loaded browse which has got the issue, and only in legacy at that. So, but what, like I say, I found the issue, but getting the correct solution is causing a couple of issues at the moment. So that's what we are currently working on, and I will keep you posted this week on that. That's really it for news at the moment from the Noyantis point of view. There should be obviously that ReportControl update. Basically, it's like any of us, all of us. We're all juggling a bit of work, template work, along with the project work and consultancy work and so on and so forth. So yeah, last week the ReportControl did get quite a few hours thrown at it, as in, you know, like day and a half, couple of days really. And I do have an idea of how to fix it. It's just which is going to be the better solution going forward. What I don't want to do is just do a temporary fix. I want to fix it correctly, if you will, and so it goes in line with the future plans for the product. Also, there should be a Chilcat update released this week as well, which has got quite a few more base classes finished off and updated, and also you'll start seeing some new task classes being introduced. So you should see them starting to come out in this next release, and then subsequent releases as well. So yeah, good news on the Chilcat stuff. There is the new task class will be Third Light task class, which is Third Light is an online image repository. So it's a task class dedicated to that. But there's also ones planned for your DocuSign and a couple of others. So yeah, busy time for the Chilcat wrapper. Okay, and have we got any questions? This could be a really quiet webinar. Donald, well, let's open the microphone up. Hi, Donald.
Hello, everybody.
I always like to put people on the spot, make sure they've got a microphone.
Yeah, I apologize if my audio quality is bad. I'm on my laptop at work.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know if I have the bandwidth. I was gonna. Well, let me back up a minute. My question is about a Clarion window that's inside a DockingPane.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's actually working pretty good, but let's say that the app frame starts out at a non-maximized size, and then I maximize the frame. The windows that are in the docking panes, or I'm sorry, the panes themselves do not resize with my frame, particularly the height value. the width appears to be fine, but it's the height value. And I'm sure that there's a method or something to refresh perhaps the docking pane control to adjust to the new frame height or something to that effect. I don't know if I'm making sense, but.
So just, I've just had to get a particular other machine working here, so I can probably jump into one of our examples. So look, just go through that again. You've got Clarion window hosted in the docking pane, no problem. And it's when the pane's resizing. Now, is this upon initial start, or is it as you are moving the panes or resizing the Clarion host window for that matter?
If you want to share my screen just for a moment, I've got an example ready to go just to show you.
Yep, it should be coming your way now. Yep.
Okay. All right. Can you see? I'm remoted in, and then remoted in a third time, or second or third time. So can you see the little map?
Yep.
Okay. All right. The app frame starts out small, and okay. See that effect?
Right. Okay.
Okay. So now, what's cool or what's interesting is if I adjust that frame just by dragging a little bit, it adjusts to the main frame's height. And so I'm like, if it's refreshing there just by me, acting upon it, then there's a method somewhere to cause that to happen.
Now, okay, just go back.
This may lock up on me, Andy.
Okay. So you've got your application frame.
Just because of bandwidth.
No problems. It gives me the idea. So we've got the application frame, and you've got a window caption. Is that correct?
And it only does it the first time. So from like, if you notice there, it resized fine. It's that first initial load, and I'll start it again. Okay, so when you first open the window, if I hit maximize, you can see that MDI window that these frames are based on, you can basically say that that's the bottom of the window there.
Right.
So I don't know if it's a docking frame issue, if it's the underlying window, or what the deal is, but
just if you can just show me the design of that then. So you've got the main application frame, we've got that.
Okay.
Yeah. Where's your docking panes?
Okay, so the docking panes are
on a window, right? Okay.
On a window, and this is the not the position one, but the other one, the
docked.
Docked.
Yep.
And then the frames are based off of that. And right now there's just two, and of course I've got the map in one of them, and I've pretty much set all the options. Everything's pretty much default.
Just out of interest, okay. Size, you got two panes?
Yes, sir.
800, 200, okay. Show me the other pane, if you will. That's going to the right.
Well, I think my remote desktop just froze up.
No problems.
I've got real bad bandwidth right now, but I just wanted to demonstrate that to you. I'm sure that I'm doing something wrong, but I'm a Noyantis rookie right now, so.
Well, no, you're doing fine. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's froze. I'm sorry, Andy.
Okay, well, let me, I'll bring it back here. And let's see if I can just take you through the basics, if you will, on mine.
Okay.
Right, so it wasn't this. I was going to, let's close that. So I'm going to use schedule it because I seem to use this all the time. But it's a good example, and it uses the same beta version of the DockingPane that that you have, and so on. So basically, application frame across the top. So I think you had that. I happen to have a command bar on there, but that's kind of irrelevant. So I've got a host window, and I think I just saw that on yours. You've got a host window. You call it MDI host or MDI main or something. Yeah, so you've got a window. Now, interestingly, I have that window maximized because basically that host window, because I'm using the docking panes, your application is still MDI. Or you've got MDI child windows like an MDI child browse and an MDI child form, so on and so forth. But it's presented to the user in like an SDI style, if you will.
Right.
Okay. So I've got a window, command bar across the top of it. This is on the host, and then I've got two panes. Well, actually, I've got quite a few panes. Navigation pane, hosting, task panel, and a work area pane on the right. And what we do there is we keep swapping the content in and out. Now, the reason that so far, now you might not have the multiple panes on the right, but you don't need to neither. What we've got here is very similar to your setup. I saw a pane on the left. I think you haven't hidden the child setting because I did see like a blank area on your window. So
right.
the MDI, because it's going to take over, the docking panes is really going to take over the whole of the application's navigation. A host window navigation. Then basically I would have that, and let me just open this up. You can see, there you go, schedule it. Here's the menu. So bear in mind, here's the app, and we'll keep switching back. Oh no, that's John's app. Yeah, we'll keep switching back to this and see it from a design point of view. So that's that main window. I have it. I don't bother with a title or anything like that because I just don't need it. So basically, there's no frame, and I want it to be maximized. So then that gives me literally from underneath the title bar of the app frame, literally this corner. I don't know if you can see the cursor. Just we'll schedule it. Yeah, from that top left all the way to the bottom right is the host window, as we call it, which is this main. Now on there, I have a command bar. No, not that one. That one, which you've seen. There's actually two bars on there. I've got a command bar across the top, and I've actually got a status bar across the bottom. But that's kind of irrelevant. I've got them, and then I've got my panes working. And if I was to open one of the other panes, all I'm doing is just hiding what is the pane you saw a minute ago and bringing another pane into view. But it is maximized. The point being, this is what you want to answer your question. This is what I want to get shown yours. So let's have a look at our docking pane from that point of view. If you are using command bars and docking panes on the same window, like so, then what you need to do, there's a setting, I'll quickly show it you now. You need to make them aware of each other. And what that does, because ultimately the command bars in docked mode will take as much room as they require. But the docking pane in docked mode will also take as much room as it requires. Now, of course, the docking pane, because it's docked, is going to take all of the room. So you end up with the two fighting each other. All you have to do is just make them aware of each other, and they will then respect each other's boundaries. So if this, for some reason, this command bar at the top did decide it needed a second bar, or it needed to expand down, maybe it's a ribbon type interface or something like that, but if it needed more space, it would take it, and the docking pane would then decrease its client area, if you will, and still respect each other's boundaries. So that's one little tip. And to make them aware of each other, you just go across to the third party tab and click link to command bars, and that's it. And that will then make them respect each other. So that's tip number one. Now for your panes, I've got a navigation on the left. I think I saw one on yours. And then each one of these, there's loads of panes, but all of those basically are going to, they're all like married to each other, if you will. So what I mean by
Mhm.
that is I'll quickly show you. The navigation is a straightforward pane. Navigation, I want it open, visible, got some particular options for it, and I've got the size, and it's going to go to the left. We'll come to them sizes in a second, but it's going to go to the left when it's docked.
Mhm.
And then we've got some content. So there it is, a task panel. So that is this pane here. So if I was to resize,
Okay.
that's that pane there. Then I've got a pane on the right, which is, to start with, I call it dashboard because it's going to have a dashboard interface by default. So we go to the dashboard, and its content is a Clarion window, an MDI window called dashboard, and that just lets me do my thing. So far so good, very similar to yours. We'll look at a couple of these. Again, I'm going to come to this size, but in a second. But we've got the docking direction, and I want that to the right, and it's going to be to the right of the nav, which we've just said was on the left. So those two know about each other, if you will. Now, I mentioned sizes. I don't have the windows so that they can actually float, but they can do. Now, there's two settings, and this is going to change in the future because, as I've said in online quite a few times, I try to be a bit of a smart aleck, if you will, and I think it's come back to bite me a little. So imagine, if you will, let's quickly jump back to here. You've got two sizes for the panes. One, if the pane was floating, as I say, we don't allow these to float. Oh, no, don't allow them to float. But if you did, then the floating size is measured in pixels. So if you said that pane was 100 by 300, when you float the pane, it would be 100 pixels wide, 300 pixels high.
Right.
Okay. But when they're docked, which is what they are here, then basically the best way of thinking of them is percentages. So the overall width would form 100%. The overall height would form 100%. So now I use the same measurement. Let's go back to our template here. I use the same measurement. Yeah, what's there? Sorry, here for both. And I shouldn't have done because they're two different measurements. One's really percentage based, one's pixels when it's floating. So that is going to change. I'm going to, basically have these so they duplicate up and they'll prompt you for what the floating size is and what the docked percentages are, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay. So, but for now, one thing to get around that, easiest way to think of it at the moment is I use these as 1,000. So 1,000 by 1,000, which means it's still same percentage, if you will, ratio wise. So I've said my navigation wants to be 125 by 1,000, which from a percentage point of view, sorry, if it was floating, it would take on those sizes. But if it's not floating, we divide by 10, and ultimately it's like you want 12.5% and 100% of the height, giving you this. So, and then of course on the flip side of that, I have this as 875, which is basically the 87.5% by 100%. And the reason I mentioned that, I don't think it's particularly your issue, but I did see that you had your pane set to 200. Now, it shouldn't be the issue because you could say the pane is only 200 high, but if you've got nothing else at the bottom, it's going to take up all of the available space. So even though you said 200, there's no other panes below it, so it's going to take all of that. But it's just something to bear in mind. If you did go adding other panes, that could really throw you, and you'll think, well, why is it sizing like that, and what's it done here? And that's really because of those sizes, the initial sizes. So until I change those settings, I would probably, a good tip is take them all up to, instead of 100% by 100%, just think of them as 1,000 by 1,000, that kind of thing. And just do the ratios accordingly. That's what I'd suggest. So that's that. Now let's look at one of the windows just so you can check your settings. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show is we've got a dashboard, which you saw when I went in, and then I've got one for client list or patients, which is what we're on there. And there was another list for staff. So if I select staff, that opens. And if I go back to the patient, it's there, staff, it's there. So to do that, I'm not sure you're going to need that in yours, but just, consider it a bit of training, don't do any harm. We opened on our dashboard and I've got it defined, visible, open, got my sizes, and I've done it part of a collection. And a collection is really just, it's a way of linking related panes together, and you can have many different collections if you wanted to, and it's just a word. So I've called it work. Call it anything you like. Could have called it client area, work area, ABC, anything you like. So I've called it work. Now, if we look at the definition of the other panes, e.g. the client list or the patients, I have this part of the work collection. Same size, although it's kind of irrelevant and so on, but yeah, but basically it's part of the work collection, but by default it's hidden rather than visible.
Yeah.
Now, we'll look at the options, and there's a couple of options here. These are pretty self-explanatory. Pane cannot be pane cannot be closed. It's the bottom two which really are important. Auto hide other panes in the collection when selected. Now, the dashboard is part of the work collection. Technically, every one of these panes are all part of the work collection, because I've gone with the approach of navigation on the left and just a work area on the right. So any screen I bring into view is in part of the work collection, and I just want to bring that into the effect.
Yeah, and then that's going to be a similar architecture to what I'm going to do on that particular app. Yeah.
Yeah. So you would want to make use of that. I mean, don't call it work, anything you like. It's just a word, because it might be that you have multiple panes. Maybe you want to have equivalent of columns. So you've got navigation, and maybe you require two windows here rather than just one. So you could have a work area 1, work area 2, or maybe selection and work. The point is, you can have multiple different collections. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
So I've got it work. I have the others defined as hidden, and I do say that they are attached to the pane, the dashboard pane. So if we look at every one of these, so the staff would be exactly the same, hidden by default, part of the work collection, auto hide, which we want to do, and it's attached to the dashboard. So basically my dashboard is the initial, not only the initial screen, but it's also the placeholder for all the other work panes.
Okay.
The other option is this one, the child contents, lazy open really. Don't open the child contents. And if you're going to use the browse windows or other Clarion windows, which you're doing, then I'll just go back in to show you. And it is definitely worth doing that. Basically, we open the application, and that dashboard, which has only got basically just a logo image, is opened. Now, the very first time I click on patient list, I've got lazy open on, which means I don't want you to go off. I don't want the application to go off and open every one of the other windows, just ready for in case the user wants to use them, because I've got, I don't know, I've got 7 options there, and on our config we've got lots of other options there. So there's probably there's some more there. There's probably 15, 20 windows, and it's absolutely pointless just because they can be used as a piece of content. You don't want to start the application and go and run 20 procedures when the user might.
Yeah, you don't want to start your app and use a gig of RAM right off the bat,
And the user might not even visit any of those. They might just be coming in, checking a patient's phone number. So go into your patient list. The very first time I click on it, you'll get the delay. Now, that happens to have a lot on that window, probably a bad example. But you did see there was a delay going into it, similar to the staff list.
But
So
that delay was so brief that, I mean, it wouldn't bother me at all.
No. In fact, well, the good news is there's work being done in the templates, so everybody will get the update, but there's work being done which will automatically speed all of this up for you anyway. So you've got some good news on that. In the definitions, we spoke about the command bar updates, but I'm going to do the speed up, the speed enhancements from the command bar initialization code. Is phenomenal. I think I said to you something like 3 seconds on a complex command bar, an unrealistic complex command bar, and I've got it from 3 seconds down to something like 0.03 seconds. It's ridiculous. I'm going to use that same approach now, the initialization approach, in all of the products. So CommandBars is first, but the docking panes is also going to follow suit. The task panel is going to follow suit. Basically, all of them are, because it's just so much better. So that's good. So these will, that delay will actually be, it will be faster. Now, basically, yeah, we got that delay when we first went into the patient list. Now, if I go back to the patient list, we're not going to restart that procedure. It's still running. It's just in limbo, if you will. It's just hidden away. So we go back, and it's immediately. And I can go and select a particular patient. So that just proves that browse is, well, it's not a browse, it's a report control, but proves it's working. Go back to my staff. And of course, that's all instantly there, so I can select a person, go back, and it's exactly where you left it. We should just, if you had a Clarion window open and you just lost focus, you wouldn't expect it to go and reset anything. It would just lose focus. And that's all what's happening here. It just so happens that the host pane is basically being hidden, and that's all. So that's the type of approach you want to use, and the settings for those. And to round up on this, the only thing we want is to just look at the settings of one of these windows to make sure that you can have yours the same, and your resize should just work. Then there'd be no reason why it shouldn't. So we'll just check those for you as well. So they're very important, those two. If you're going to use Clarion windows, I would have the lazy open definitely turned on. You don't have to, but it's definitely a better option. And if you depend on the UI that you want to try and achieve, I would have the make use of the collection facility. So I can bring one of the settings in, locations, and that's that, so on and so forth. And basically the user's just working in one area, but they've still got the power of the MDI interface should they need to go back to one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so go on.
Well, I was going to tell you, Andy, now that I'm a Noyantis customer, it has created a problem that I've never had since 2005, 2006, when I started in Clarion.
Okay,
and it's an interesting problem to have. The problem is sometimes it's hard to decide just which control I'm going to use. Now that I have so many options, used to, it's just the standard toolbar, it's toolbox options of, the standard buttons and lists. And I actually sometimes have to sit and ponder, which Noyantis control am I going to use for this? Well, and so that's a nice problem to have. I was going to compliment.
I was going to say it is, but and thank you very much. But you actually you raise a pretty valid point, because sometimes too much choice can actually spoil it for you as well, because you can, well, would that be the better option or that, and then you cause uncertainty of which way you go with the application and the design and so on. What I would suggest there, obviously, that's that particular application, schedule it, and I'm trying to think on here. Do you know, for what I'll do, if you can make next week's webinar, I'm going to I'll get the apps running on here, because basically we're not connected to our DB server at work, so I've made a makeshift one while we're in lockdown and we're working from home and so on. But I'll make sure our applications are up and running for next week.
Sure. And I'll be off. I'll schedule for an off day next Monday, so I'll be on my personal machine, and it's good to go.
Okay.
But
there's a few different flavors of UI that we've used, and the best one for the job, so to speak. But the one tip I still do now, this is crazy in this day and age, but if I'm starting a particular product, like we've got schedule it there, but we're also working on another in-house product, job management. It's going to be anyway, so we're working on that. But what I will do is take myself away from the machine. I'll literally pencil and a piece of paper, and I'll just sketch out the navigation, and I'll sketch out how I want the screens to look. And I really will let the imagination run wild. And it's a case of, right, it'd be brilliant if I could do this, brilliant if I could do that, and then take a step back and look at the actual controls, which might allow me to achieve some of these things. So I would say sketch out, and these can be, you want to see some of my drawings, someone like a 5-year-old's, but I would say sketch them out, bring them to the webinar, and just send us a message with the photo of the thing, and we'll say, okay, Andy, how can we do that? We've actually done it in webinars in the past where somebody they pinched some screenshots from an art package, and they said, this is the UI that I want for our application, and we created the skeleton within the timeframes of the webinar. In one webinar, we actually created a skeleton for them. So, do that. The offer's there. That's what we're here for, and we can make recommendations on the controls.
Yeah, and another cool thing about your products is even within a particular control set, there's so many levels of options within that template, so to speak, that it's almost like it's multiple controls in one, and it's pretty neat stuff. I've enjoyed digging into it and learning more about it.
Cool. Well,
but I won't take up any more of your time. I sure do appreciate.
Oh, it's no problem. I will check the settings of this one window just from a size point of view. So then you've got because we've done your MDI host, we've done the pane definition. We'll do this one window, and then that you'll have the recording of this and so on, and you'll be able to check your settings against all settings, just to see are you getting the same effect as we're getting, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now this is a Clarion window from here, if you will, down to the bottom corner, and we'll go into it now. This is, let's go to an easy one. Actually, no, we'll stick with this one because they're all very similar. But on this Clarion window, so it's browse patients, or the table's called clients, we have a command bar on the window. So we've got using the command bar as a title bar, but also our actions as well. So we can turn filter bars on and search bars and things like that, and so on. So we're using the command bar as both a title for the window and also actions.
Yeah.
Then on that window, now take a step back. This is our host window. So this is our DockingPane host for the overall application. We've covered that. Well, we've got that clear in our minds. But on this window is running a DockingPane host of its own, on it basically just for this window. So I've got a command bar at the top. I've got another bar. It's just one command bar control, but you can have multiple bars. So I've got a command bar at the top. I've then got a sub-action bar underneath, which will let me choose actions for the record you're on. And I've got a filter command bar on the left, so I can quickly filter individual people, and so on. So part of this screen design is a command bar using 3 bars. That's fine. I've got a report control, as you can see, which we're using, and I'm running a DockingPane window, a DockingPane control on this window, which is then docking the report control and the columns of the report control. So I can then let the user have these, pick them, fold it back when they're not needed.
And you've got those DockingPanes set where they can't be repositioned, closed, etc., etc.
That's right. Yeah, I don't want no titles. I don't want them moving them around. I could do if I wanted to, But I think from that point of view, that might blow the user's mind a little. So we don't. But one last one, just to get your head around it. So we've got that's called main, or it's our docking host, if you will. This is called browse clients, or patients, but browse clients, and so on. And we've got on it command bar, report control, the docking pane hosting the report control and hosting the field picker of the report control. Okay. And then it's got a pane at the bottom called related information. Now this pane down here is actually running another Clarion window, and there's just doing notifies between the two. So as I go up and down, I've got this related info window to the related record that I'm on, and it's just notifying it of the parent record so that these can reset accordingly. And the beauty of that is this window is just taking related information from a parent. So it's okay, I am on Andy Wilton, me. There you go, and I can see phone calls and notes and alerts and things like that, which is really good. But it also then means that I can then reuse this window elsewhere. So if I go to my appointment book, and I've just got to put this in, in fact, it should be going in this week, but it's going to be a bit of a tough one. But if I go and book an appointment, I'm just going to quickly put one in for me. Yeah, okay. 30-minute appointment. There you go. Oh, that's what I'm up to. I'm retrofitting some changes. Ignore that. But basically, yeah, I would have an appointment. So what I want to do is introduce the related info down here. So when that appointment's for Andy Wilton, let's say, I could click on the appointment and have a load of related information about the person of that appointment down at the bottom. But I don't have to rewrite all the code because I've got my window already written. So now I'll have that same procedure running twice, one docked on the patient window, one docked in the appointment window, and just taking notifications for the change of parent.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, so I promise we quickly look at that window, so it'll be in the browse. Quickly jump to that. There's our browse clients. There's our related, we just mentioned a minute ago. But I have a window. So it's initial size. I'm just trying to get to it's a window there. I don't put a frame on it because my docking pane is going to give me that. I can't believe I had a title on it actually, because I normally get rid of the title. Opens up a normal size. Nothing new there. Immediate's turned on. MDI child, obviously, because it's an MDI window. That's that. The only thing you would want on there is that's a bad example. I was going to say you'd want a resize template, but of course I'm not going to need the resize template because I'm using a docking pane on that child window, which means it will naturally grab the control, be it the report control or be it the field picker, and it will resize it accordingly anyway. But if you weren't using that, you would need some kind of resizer on that window, be it the Clarion resizer, Capesoft resizer, Mike's box off resizer, but you would need some kind of resizer, or your own code, of course, but you would need some kind of resizing code. And the event you want to trap, if you're doing through resizing, then maybe you your own code, you would want to be trapping the event do resize, presuming you're ABC.
Yeah, and there's a method that you have in your class that and I can't remember the name of it, but when you turn the debug option on at the global level, it'll actually tell you the event name as that event passes through. And
well,
I can't think of the name of it, but where are those events declared as far as if I wanted to look them up? Or
well, I was going to say, if it's an OCX event rather than a Clarion event, because if it's debug, then chances are it's going to be that one is reporting back to you. So open up the CodeJock help, So yeah, open up the CodeDoc help, and that is in the help folder, or the file's called symbolreference.chm.
Okay.
But open up that. So we'll go to DockingPane control, and it'll be, you want the DockingPane members. It's exactly the same if you was command bar, property grid, you'd follow the same steps. So you just type in command bar and you go to the members. Go to the members. They are a list of the public methods. They're a list of the properties for the control. At the control at that level, remember that you're going to nested levels, and these are the events. Now the events are always posted at the highest level, if you will. So here, so there is a resize, could be resize client. There's a few. You can grab that particular name. We can look it up in here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you do go quickly. Like we said about mentioning that's active pane. We can see there's probably an add pane somewhere. Attach a pane. Well, basically, if you was to go off and create pane there, so we can go create pane, and it's going to return you a pane object. So we can go to that, look at that's members. That's what I mean about this tree, this level, if you will. So we've gone through the docking pane. We go to the members there, and that's got a list of its own methods, its own properties. You wouldn't really get the events at a particular level. They really only come back at the highest level. I'm not saying you don't get them at the lower level, but you'll always intercept them at the highest level.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely worth a read. There's you'll come across some properties and stuff which you might not have an explicit method, a getter and setter for it, if you will, in the class. But what we always have is a get property and a set property method. So really, you've probably seen some of the contents. There's so many methods that we create for ours. Some of them directly relate to CodeJox and Chilcat's related methods. Some are just methods which we need ourselves. And that's what I was on about before with the report control update. That is also, I've got a particular fix, but I want to make sure that I fix it in the right way going forward, if you will. We're trying to enhance the products, and I don't want to just put a kludge in there to get by. I want to do it properly. Hence why it's taking so much time. But yes,
you're definitely juggling a lot of different things, and it's an amazing product. It's an amazing product line that you've put together, and the balancing act between the Clarion side, the OCX side, and I mean, you've just got several different balls in the air. That what you've done with it is pretty impressive.
Oh, cheers, thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, there's we get to see a lot of people's screens and so on. I saw yours before with the map and so on. It looks great. We get to see so many different people's applications. I think Alex was on last week and he showed a particular one he's working on, and the screens look absolutely amazing. So I pick up ideas off people all the time, and I'm thinking, God, I like that. So next version, I'll sit down on the sofa with the pencil and the paper, and I'll be pinching ideas off others as well. So it's all about knowledge, isn't it?
Well, I'm not just speaking of your user interface, but just the actual all this code that you've written is just, and I know from my experience in Windows APIs over the last few weeks that this isn't easy stuff. It's
oh no, it's come about what we're on now, 2020. It's 12. I think the oldest one. Calendar was technically the first one we started, because that's why we come into this, but Shortcut Bar was the first to be released, and that was 12 years ago. I think it was June or July 2008. So it's been a while. Been good. It's been testing, but it's been good.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time, Andy, and
no problem.
And also, I think Alejandro is in attendance, and
he's desperate for a fix off me, so I'm going to actually just open up now for him.
He actually helped me last week, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate his help. And that's what I like about the Clarion community is, we come together and help each other.
Oh, it's by far one of its major strengths. I think Clarion, personal view, I don't want to get sued, but I think Clarion would have died a long time ago without the actual community. sticking
Yeah.
by it. I really do.
I agree.
So
I'm gonna turn my mic off,
okay.
Andy, just because I've
Well,
got a
I'm going to
police
go
radio,
no
and
problem.
I don't want to disturb everybody.
Okay. Good speaking with you. If you can attend next week, we'll get a couple of different UIs and we bounce some, make some sketches and ideas, and we'll see what can be done.
Yes, sir. We'll do.
Okay. I've got to go to Alejandro, but also very quickly, Bill. Where's Bill? Here he is. Hi, Bill.
Hello, Andy.
Hi. Yes, we quickly covered at the start. Let me just come out of this. So
yeah, I was stuck on the phone with a customer and I couldn't get on till about 10 minutes after the hour, and then my speakers weren't working on that computer. I had to switch computers. So
God, it sounds a nightmare. Well, basically, yes. Yourself had logged a fault. It sounded a bit more severe fault on yours, and also Alex logged a fault to do with the browser enhancing on the legacy. Now, I put just go back to that one. Put some real good time to it last week. It's not released. I've made some progress. I can't remember where I left this now. Let me just try this. Do a compile. Well, basically, I know what the fault is, and it's to do with. It looks like yours. I don't think we're initializing. Alex's were initializing, but you couldn't select a record. Technically, it was actually selecting the record. Then the underlying browse class, which wasn't being kept in sync, was actually bouncing it back to its original. No. Yeah, I think it was that way around. Basically, one selection was being taken, the report control. You try and pass it through to the browse class. The browse class was selecting it. The report controller got out of sync, and it was reselecting the original record. So it's a bit of a mess, really. So there's a normal report control. That's browse customers. Oh, it's not that one. That bottom one. Yeah, so these are the IDs. So this is me playing about underneath the surface. So basically, the upshot is we can see that we've got a record being selected, which wasn't happening. And now it's in sync. If I press the change, is it on that record? It is. But there's other factors to take into account. So the long story is we're close, but we're not quite there yet on a releasable fix for it. But we are extremely close. As you can see, this is all legacy. If I press down arrow, was it this one? There was one scenario which weren't working. Yeah, the down arrow has now jumped me back up to the top. So basically, it's the events, it's posting events, it's intercepting its timings. So I'm reworking the code. So we're gonna have, well, you've got some new derived methods, all to do with the list underscore methods. In fact, I'm just gonna bring Alex into this if he's in attendance. And Alex, are you there? No. Okay. But basically, yeah, it's you've got some new derived methods, list underscore, which are the ones which are used for list enhancing, and you won't have to put any code. Don't worry about it. But by me putting that, making them derivable, it allows me at a template level to then start putting a much better, closer link between the R class and R template and the underlying browse class, which is page loaded for the legacy one and so on, but it's kind of irrelevant. So it will allow us to start calling the generated code, if that makes sense. So we are close. I just want to make sure that as we fix it, we're not being event driven or anything like that. We want it to actually call just as though you're doing this on there's a standard Clarion list here. Just as though you are clicking around that, I want the report control to literally call that same code and not just post events, which is what it was doing prior, and causing this effect. Does that make sense?
yeah, I guess I mean I wasn't getting anything to show on the screen at all. So
yeah, you see, I think that I haven't looked at your app yet because I've got perfect example of it not working on one of this here. But the app that you sent through, will of course be checked, and I'll look at your settings. But there was no problem in getting it to initialize, and Alex has got that in his, so it was just going to be a setting in there. I can quickly show you the settings here, just so you can check against yours. What you want to check is you've got a pre-selected version of the CodeDockControl. So I'm not sure what version you're using, but
19.1. I'm on 19.1.
Brilliant. Okay, so choose 19.1 rather than the specified version. Always, golden rule, always use the predefined. If you're using register, if you're using reg3com, then select it, but make sure you've got your ActiveX license compiled in. On this machine, it's my development machine, so I don't need to use the register. The control's already registered, and if you don't compile your license in, it will naturally look where the bin, where the OCX file resides, which is in the CodeDock bin, and that's where the .lics are. But if you're doing your application for release, then you would want reg3com, compile in, and click the enter validation code and put it's the third line out of the license file. I think we've covered this in the past, so you know that bit. But yeah, it starts something like validate code.
Yeah.
So you'd want to do that if you were getting problems where it weren't showing. They would be the settings I would check first. Have you got your license code compiled in and all of it?
Well, no, it was working fine with if I followed your directions for the ABC one that you did by mistake about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember. Right.
The legacy one didn't.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll quickly. We'll make sure that reg3com and the legacy is working. So reg3com, enter a license code. I am obviously. The other thing we've got to do, I'll come back to that in 1 second, is in that folder, do make sure that you copy the OCX file in. So go to CodeDock, ActiveX 19.1, go to our bin folder, and can't see if we're looking at report control, that's why. The OCX. So make sure you've got that in your folder.
The OCX show, the table shows there's just no records in it.
Right, but you do get an empty table and it says no records.
All that.
Oh, right.
That's
okay.
exactly what I sent you.
Right. So like I say, I didn't look at it because I already had the a non-working one, which was you know yourself. When you got something non-working, that's worth its weight in gold from a debug and a test point of view. Right. Let me take these back out then. So okay, so we've got that. So no, you should. And that is a standard Clarion list on the screen. I think the system generated one. You can still tell where the tabs this window was. So we've just got a Clarion page loaded. It's legacy, so it's Clarion list on the screen, and then go to there, go to the select the browse, add the browse enhancer, not the list enhancer, the browse enhancer. Use the primary auto key. I think there's an issue in that to do with legacy as well. So just make sure you've got that ticked. But that's all you should need, and it should be getting the data out.
We weren't using the browse enhancer, Andy. This was on that file on your derived one, the file.
Okay, then we've got one of them here as well. So we've got legacy, obviously, report control, actions. Oh no, the webinar software makes this go into flicker mode. Oh, right, okay, it's done it. I expected it to go to webinar can really cause an issue with this. So it's based on customers. Put a key on there. I'm going through in just the raw customer ID because this is going to be the equivalent of a file loaded browse in legacy, which obviously you can't have, but it's going to be the equivalent of file loaded. So I'm going to go through in customer ID order because I just want to get the data in as fast as possible, or even faster still, I could leave that blank and not give it a key at all. Just let it go through in raw record order. And I do need a unique field, which is a customer ID. I specify some columns. So I'll say the customer ID, name, customer, and I've done the equivalent of a local variable, if you will, but I've called it local column. So it's a local column UK. So if I go on to here, and I'll give it an icon. So I said, if the country is UK, then it gives it the little Noyantis icon. Okay, so that's that so far. And the reason I just want to get the data in is I can do the sorting then at runtime and let the user, I can put them in customer name order. I just want to get the records in there. So I'm not bothered what order I read the records in, I just want them in there. We run that, and that's your report control. And if we go down, I can see that these are UK ones. And you just get your little icon. Very crude, but you get the idea. But you should definitely get your data. There's no reason why you wouldn't get your data. Should we have a quick look at your test app that you sent through?
Yeah, this app you're showing right here on the screen right now. If you go to, is that the one you used like 3 or 4 weeks ago?
No, this is the legacy one. This is legacy. Where are we? Yeah, Clarion.
But you're in a different version though. You're in 1.6, not 1.5, which is all
I've got some changes, so it's probably an unfair comparison in fairness. But I could open your app up. If you want, I can send you.
Yeah.
No, actually.
Well, look.
Let me get to. I'm gonna say it's too dangerous to send you this beta. If I had 4.16a, I could have sent you that. But this one, as I said a minute ago, has now got some new derived methods in. Oh, actually, no.
If you look at the app I sent you, you should be able to see what's going on.
Yeah, let me have a look at yours.
I sent you a customer file and everything.
Yep, just going to open this now. Right, 1 second. Be under webinars, report control, Bill. There you go. You're famous. Okay, does this look like that it? Does that look like yours, Bill?
Well, let me see. The one I sent you was
20th of the 3rd.
I got to look now. It was.
Oh, hang on a second. No.
I sent you.
Send me a later one. Just found it.
I sent you an ABC one and a legacy one. The ABC one works and the legacy one doesn't.
I've got it here now, yeah. Legacy ZXX. That's no problem. I take it that's a zip. Okie dokie. Yeah, that. Okay, well, let's just get this open. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Bill and everybody else for that matter, the YouTube channel has got all of the videos fully uploaded, except for today. So yeah, all the videos are up there, and we're going to start getting some descriptions on them as well to make them easier for searching.
Because what it was, Andy, was you had started to do the legacy You went through a complete legacy one, but the problem was, yeah, it was actually an ABC one
That was, yeah,
that you did on the
few weeks.
webinar.
Yeah, yeah. No, this the other one is legacy. We'll just check this one what you sent through. So this will be your app, okay? And it is Clarion Legacy. Yep. So let's look at your settings. Obviously, I've got a later version than you, 416. Well, actually, let's just you've got to specify. But if you're not using reg3com, that won't matter. But I'll just compile. We won't do any changes just yet. We'll just we'll compile and see what you've got.
And that's the number of records in the file. That's because I was worried the file wasn't open.
Right, but no records. Okay. And we've got a report control on the screen, so I'm not going to change any of those. Got a customer table. Okay. I don't know if that, I'm a bit worrying if that is the actual problem. Cause F name, is that in your columns? Yeah, F name, yeah, it's in there, so you should know it. Just going to take that out, because what I would do,
Yeah, I don't know why that's in there.
I wouldn't have that as the order. I would put it in the sorting, because you've got it in last name anyway. So you've got it in last name order. So I'm just going to take that out. Okay, if you got there, you're going through in cus name order. Cus number, I take it is some kind of unique number, I take it. That's fine. Any joins? No hot fields, okay. Oh, one last one. Wouldn't affect the loading, I just wanted to check the related record. Yep, all looks good. Well, that was just a proper order. Why didn't it like that? It was just the order what was causing the issue. I mean, one, I wouldn't put the order on there. If you're using SQL, definitely, it's worth it. But actually, no, that's still not quite true. Personally, I don't use it because it's the equivalent of file loaded and let the report control do the sorting afterwards, because the user, you can save and restore them, so which means the user's going to have the ability to have their own, save them, and and restore them and automatically resort when it comes back in. So that's interesting that was the cause. So in yours, Bill, the cause is just that one. Take that order out and just try it on yours. Interesting. I'm just going to check that generated source. Got the column, so the table, we know it's coming back. Yeah, prop order. Well, Bill, I think that was your problem on yours. Hi, Bill.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
here.
yeah, sorry. They have to quiet. So yeah, I just take the prop order off. I'm just going to log that on ours now. Won't be a second.
Yeah, it's working now.
Report control. Legacy. Prop order. Okay. Just created a support ticket on our system for it. Really don't see why that would cause it a particular issue. It's nothing more than a prop order. I did that. If anything, you'd expect an issue off it. No? Well, yeah, the quick fix for you there is take the prop order off. I'll have a look at why that was going to be causing the issue. There's no reason why it should. It's hot fielded in. It's nothing more, as you saw from the generated code, as a generated prop order, which is perfectly fine. But by the same token, I wouldn't bother using it. I would let the control do the sorting itself. So you could put them in last name order, followed by first name order. And when it runs, you'll see the little arrows next to those particular columns, and they'll be sorted for you accordingly.
Yeah, I see that now, but I thought you had said something about there was a problem with the property with it loading, so I left it alone, never went back and looked at it, because that's why I sent you the demos.
Well, I mean, and I always try and be brutally honest. I found a particular issue. It took, I must have wasted, not a word of a lie, must have wasted 3.5 hours, a good afternoon, tracking down where it wasn't actually linking any particular code back to the report control, back to the Clarion browser itself. But on further inspection, this wasn't your app, by the way. This was a test app that I'd done. On further inspection, it was actually Clarion had lost the link. So when you went to the window of the actual Clarion browse, did right-click actions, it had lost the link to that, which is done via the SEQ number in here. There.
Okay, well, this appears to be working, so we'll just
go with that for now. But Bill, there is an issue. You're fine on that one, but on the browse enhancers, there is an issue in the legacy. So as soon as the new report control is available, especially for legacy users, I would definitely recommend going to it. And Alex, who's waiting for that fix, is saying, do you think it will be out this week? Alex, I will try. Yes, I'll get a beta to yourself and Bill this week. Yeah, so feel free to drop me a message, and I'll get a beta to you. It is, as I say, you can see where it was up to a second ago. I'll just quickly jump back to the legacy test. Looks very crude, but it's just a test app. It's all it really needs to be. So where we're up to on that is, yeah, we can see, ignore all these, but basically if I choose 24-hour Le Mans, and Alex wasn't getting that, he would click there, but straight back to the top record or the previous record. The scroll was working, so I've just done the scroll mouse, and that will move accordingly. Actually, on this one, there's every chance it might not, because this is now not taking the events into account. So these are the things these are the bits I'm working on. Now you've got all the list enhancer methods all start list underscore. I'll quickly jump to this. And they post events to the underlying browse class underneath. Where are we? Come on, there we go. And now what the approach we're taking is we've got the sync row selection. That's now a derived method, and I'm playing about with basically some code which I play about here manually, and then of course when it works I make sure that the template does that code and make sure that our class works with that code hand in hand after the parent call, which is there. So basically that's the approach we'll be taking. So instead of just passing events through to the browse class, and some can be interpreted, some cannot, and of course you want to make sure you've got them in the right sequence. The idea is that we're going to actually go off and start calling the raw browse routines which are generated in legacy, and we've got to make sure that that approach also works with the ABC version. So yes, we look at routines which are generated for you by Clarion, obviously, then you will see. Let's go jump past all these. Got new selection, scroll, so on and so forth. It's that we'll be calling them just like Clarion does itself on the alert keys as you press the up key, it takes that as an alert, and you press the end key and it takes that as an alert. We're going to be doing the exact same. So that's what we want to try and do, not just posting an event through to the control. We're going to actually tie it straight back to the raw level, and so that's the approach. Right, I've got a hand up. Not sure I'm going to be able to pronounce it, but that's Alex saying thank you. I did open the mic before, Alex, but you weren't there. So, now, is it Chuyan? Not sure. I've got. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. I'm from Allen Schoolcraft Company. So last time I asked question for the checkbox inside task panel that didn't give me a event, so I can do some action based on the check or uncheck. Do you have a solution yet, or?
I'm sorry, no, not yet. I do remember, yes, yeah, because we did an example and we put the checkbox in. I was hoping it would be like the prop immediate, which that, let's say it was a clarion button and you press the clarion button. If you didn't have the immediate attribute, then the actual event accepted wouldn't trigger. Yeah. Of course, you turn the immediate on and it works as you would expect, but the checkbox didn't seem to work that way. Not sure why. I'll find a workaround, but at the moment I've not had a chance to look at it. Sorry, but yeah, it's just we've not had a chance at the moment. Hello? Oh. Oh, Chris, are you online? Yeah. No, we're not. No, my connection's gone. Yeah, nothing's happened on mine. I'm on next up. Oh, says it's on. What? I think. No, I think our broadband's just gone. Oh, God. Yep, I think the broadband's gone. I've got no connection. Mine's not reconnecting either. I can go and reset it, but yeah, no. Can't get onto BBC. I can't talk to anybody. So connection's gone, Spudge. On the normal finger. I'm not good at it. Broadband's just gone. So it's like, no. I was wrapping up anyway. So we'll have a thing in a minute. Oh, hello.
There he is.
Oh, yes.
Now I can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I'm Clue. Blame Virgin Media, who's a broadband supplier in the UK.
that's okay.
So yes, basically we were talking about the checkbox. So I will make sure it is on my on my story here now. 1 second, and I will have a look at it this week for you, just to see if we can at least find a workaround for you for now.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So I have a second question. I just so we have status bar.
Okay, command bar, status bar.
Yeah, actually inside command bar settings. So we enable a status bar.
Yep.
So I have a two of a zone. I set one I use let me see. It is adult text.
Just try
but for some reason, yeah, adult text. We have we display a customer ID, form ID. So always, so when the user want to get some support, they know what their ID is. But when they point to a command bar group or what or control, that text displayed, they change. Is there any way to not doing that? When I move cursor, it just got back my text display. So
just going to get you an example. 1 second.
I can show you my screen. So but yeah, if you.
I just want to make sure are we talking about the same thing? I think we are. Let me just check. So you're talking about this status bar at the bottom?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, that bar.
And they reflect what the current button is or control.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's why we have something displayed. We want that fixed display, not changed. But looks like if I move mouse on the command bar items, that text change. It won't.
We should be able to. We should be able to set that. Let me just go to that example. And I'm going to go into probably the version that you're using. So I'll just go into that because the other one is currently in development. So
Okay.
okay, just run this. Make sure it's still build one. Now, what controls do you have on the status bar?
Is let me see.
I'm going to put a control, say, over on the right of that. So
It's yeah, it's not current control. It's the command bar created. So
okay.
So controls, double click whatever one it is.
So I'm going to put one in.
I have two. One is custom content.
Custom
the other
content.
one is idle text.
Okay.
The idle text.
The idle text will always change, but I'm just going to.
Oh.
Yeah, the idle text will change. So I'm going to put this one.
Well, the other one, so far seems like we can only use that two on the top, the two options. One is custom content, and the other is idle text. But we have already another information displayed on the status bar with that custom content. We displayed two things. So.
Okay, so there's a NYS. Now this is idle, so that will always change. That is the idle.
Always.
But this I can change to what I want it to be. So let's say.
But you cannot add multiple of that, right?
I'm going to change that now. So I'm just going to add a button there. I'm going to call it XYZ.
Yeah, that important is if you can add a control on status bar.
So now, if I want, so I'm going to do the command bars dot set status pane icon. Try that one. What's he want? He wants a pane ID. So it's I called it NYS. I'm just going to check the property. It won't be 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to change the caption of that.
Okay.
So caption, and I'm going to change it to XYZ. So set status pane property. It wants the pane, which I called NYS. It wants a property, the caption, and then the word. So let's just try that. So there's NYS. Oh, I would have thought that would have changed it to. Did not got that pane. 1 second. There's too many NYSs. Let me just change. Let me call it something different. Okay, pane. I'm going to call it pane -NYS. Okay, and it's got that's the word it's currently got. It's a pane, got custom content. Yep. So we've got add status pane. Yep, it's a pane. Set becoming group. No, checked.
Okay, by the way, the check div property means it display as a checkbox.
Well, if it's a button, it'll put a tick. There's different ways that the command bar can actually look like it's checked.
Oh.
Yeah, there's different ways it can do it. What other properties were there? Just getting them properties for you, because I thought that would have done that, to be fair. Text caption. Oh, maybe it's. Window. We'll do both. There you go. It's a text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that one change. Okay.
So you want custom content?
Yeah.
Let's quickly get that code for you again.
But custom content only you can have only one, right? You can't have multiple room with custom.
Yeah.
I tried it. Only one works.
Custom content. I'll put that
okay
after there. So we should get NYS and custom 2.
Yeah. If that works, then I can use that. Yeah, I tried. I remember I tried, but so that's why I use the adult text, but that always change.
So I don't understand members. Type.
So each tab seems like you can only have only one.
Wonder if that's a restriction of of the control. I presumed you could have more. Status bar. Add pane. One second. Sorry about that. Just trying to see where we do the add. I'd have to look into that for you, as if that's a restriction of the control. It's definitely not a restriction on our part. We would allow you to have multiples, so I'd have to have a look if that's a restriction of the command bar itself.
Okay. Yes. Currently, apparently, it won't allow me to add multiple. Yeah. Okay. So you cannot add a current control on that. Only those
oh yeah,
options.
yeah. These are very limited. Yeah, if we look at the help there,
okay,
then you are restricted to basically. That was a pane. Sorry, I didn't want that. I wanted that one.
Okay.
What have we got here? A special key? No. Description text. What do they have in their example? They have they've got an idle. That's our first one.
Right.
They've got a caps and num. They don't have a custom one in here, do they? You can get a progress. You can get a slider. You can get a progress bar. I think
Right,
you can have
yeah.
a button.
Mhm.
Yeah. So maybe the. I'd have to check with them.
If there's ability to add more custom content types, then it's good. So we don't need use the idle text.
Yeah, but what you could do instead, if you wanted to use the Clarion control on there, what you could do is go to here, have
okay, bars.
Yeah, but it's in a ribbon. We're going to struggle on there. Yeah, you see, I use the command bar interface, and I have multiple command bars. That's a shame. That's a shame. I wonder. Can't remember what the bottom one's called.
Those are probably the better ones you can play because if you.
Won't be 1 second. See if I can find it here.
In, when you get a bounty, everybody's got $6.33. So if you're not letting people out, you get that $6.33.
Not sure that's the right bottom. Yeah, that's a better one. That one. Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
Just an idea. That's a button down at the bottom. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll copy some code. That's fine. Just 1 second. It's just to do a see if we can get a button on the other bar for you. So.
Okay.
You can have multiple bars. I have them in my application, but I have multiple command bars. What we're trying to do here is have a ribbon bar and a command bar. I don't think it's allowing it. Yeah. Oh, Hang on, no, it's there.
Oh, shows there.
But it should be down there. Because I was going to say have it down there. So that's a bit crude, but it would give you the ability to have your own bar down at the bottom, and then you could use clarion buttons on there, clone. You could put anything on there.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
So that position there should be other settings. The better one to let's just pinch some of the other code. A command bar interface, something like. If I was to, yeah, that'll do. Command bar, and I'm going to say the paragraphs, dock to the bottom, yeah, that's visible, so on and so forth, para. Oh. Okay. Okay, so something like do you use a ribbon bar interface?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's no problem. So I'm going to go create controls, and I'm going to just put this code in. So basically,
Mm.
I'm going to create a new bar, and it's going to basically say it can be docked to various different, one of those should be bottom. Okay, and then we've got some, yeah, I'll leave those, but that should add as a bar, bottom of the window, called with the paragraph options on it. Yeah, there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. The second, yeah.
So now you've got one control, you've still got your client area in the middle, but you've got ribbon at the top with a command bar down at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do in the next release. I'll get it so you can add multiple bars here. So the main interface might be ribbon, like so, but I'll still turn on the other bar so you can actually create command bars and ribbon bars all via the template.
Okay.
But in the meantime, you want create controls, and you want that will add the bar, and then you can go off and add your controls.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Control. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. We better wrap it up. Thank you everyone for attending. I'm sorry for the cutout. I'm not sure what happened. Broadband. So until next week, I will post this video up. I'm going to leave it converting immediately after we finished. So the video will go up by tomorrow with the notes on there that we have looked at the docking pane, the report control, and the command bars. So, okay, until next week. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.